Yo, what is up, guys? This is Inverse here, and we're back after a pretty long break, bringing some more of the fantastic league known as the CPBA. So we're already up in season 9 in this bitch. Yeah, I'm not gonna record all the other battles because I don't have time, but I figured I'd record this one. This actually also is not week 1. I guess first I should show you my team. So here we go. We got a Tapu Koko, Megalopony, Hoop Unbound, Empoleon, Gliscor, Sarina, Slowbro, Piloswine, Jardigon, Weezing, Scyther, and Salazzle. And yeah, it's a pretty dope team. I really like the top 3, and I really feel like that probably should not have gotten to me. But you know, it is what it is, and since it did get to me, I'm going to take advantage of it. And, you know, then just got some standard filler mons. So yeah, anyway, back to the game. This is week 4. So in week 1, I lost a close game. Week 2, I got haxed. Week 3, I won a close game. So not the greatest start ever to a season, especially with this nice team. But, you know, I decided to start recording now. 1, because this game was my best played game of the 4, and when I'm coming back, I want to give you guys a good first impression to imply that I haven't deteriorated. I'm not washed up, even though I am. But if you don't listen to this, then you might think I'm not washed up. So that's cool. And anyways, we're going to get back into this because my next 4 weeks, we got some very interesting opponents that I'm excited to play. So I think it'll be worth my time to record. And, you know, there's no real guarantee of recordings later in the season. But if I have the time, and they're interesting games, I'll do them. So anyways, I have the Tapu Koko, Hoopa Unbound, Slowbro, Piloswine, Megalopony, and Salazzle, and he brought, like, I don't know, he just brought some whack shit. I don't understand. Like, he had, like, Cresselia on his team, and I have a Megalopony, but instead he decided to bring his first 4 mons fighting week, and, yeah, that made no sense. So, yeah, anyways, I'm going to get into the battle here. He's going to lead off with Incineroar, I'm going to lead off with Piloswine, and I figure it's really obvious to just go into Xatu here on either an Earthquake or Rocks. So I'm just going to Icicle Spear turn 1. And get off some nice chip damage, as I do make that prediction correctly. But still under half with 3 hits, which is sad. But I mean, I was intimidated, so I kind of have to expect that. Anyways, I'm going to go hard Tapu Koko because I don't fear anything. And I'm just going to go straight for the Thunderbolt. It's going to do a nice 20% of this Chansey, which is a fucking bitch of a mon that I have a long history with. I feel like I always choke the Chanseys. It's all in my mind. But you see, we brought a good set because we brought a special attacker that actually beats Chansey this week, and not like some other whack shit that actually doesn't beat Chansey, because we're Taunt, so he cannot Toxic here, and pretty much all he can do is Seismic Toss, which is fine. Here I'm going to Dazzling Gleam because I expect him to possibly go into Mamoswine, but he is just going to Seismic Toss, which I'm perfectly fine with. I beat this 1v1 because I also have Roost. Yeah, I'm just Stabs and Roost. So anyways, his taunt ends here. He makes a good play and goes Xatu as I taunt again. So now he's going to taunt me back, so I can't Roost up. I can't taunt something else. So here I expect him to go into his Chansey because he obviously eats any attack, especially now that Terrain has worn off and I can't taunt him because I'm taunted myself. So I'm going to double into my Megalopony, expecting him not to want to stay in, as instead he goes into the Mamoswine, predicting the Thunderbolt. So this is fine, except for the fact that my only fighting move on Megalopony is Power Up Punch. But he doesn't know that, and so even though I click Power Up Punch here, he still doesn't know that my only fighting move is Power Up Punch, because even if I had something like a high jump kick, Power Up Punch would be a perfectly legitimate play to predict something switching in, so I can get that attack boost. Now here, I actually do live any hit, and I pretty much just kill him unless he's like max defense, which he actually is like very defensive. And actually, I think I knew that from Pile of Swine, so I knew I wasn't going to kill, but I still just want to click return anyway, because it's going to do like 80% and just leave this very low, which would be nice because I would like to get up rocks if I can, or stuff like the Incineroar. Anyways, I don't die to a Psychic or anything because he is like max defense, so I didn't really fear anything. If anything, I thought he might U-turn, because I figured he would probably have that for Hoopa. I would obviously get a free attack, and then he still would have to deal with this. But anyways, he's going to actually set up the Tailwind, which was really good prep on his part, because I was able to run stuff like Adamant, Megalopony, and Modest Coco, because his team was so slow. That Tailwind, I liked the prep. As you do see, the return did 89%, so some pretty huge stuff. As he is going to U-turn there, as I stayed in return, thinking he might want to roost, thinking that I might switch. But he does go for the U-turn and goes into his Altaria, and we're just going to click the return, do a nice 71%. Now here, because of the Tailwind, this is like a reason why Tailwind was just such a good play by him. Because of the Tailwind, I actually won't kill. He'll be able to Mega Evolve and be faster than me. And once he does Mega Evolve, I don't even kill him if he roosts. If there was one turn left of Tailwind here, I probably would have returned and just gotten the 2-hit KO, because at +1 return does like a little bit over half. But since he was not, I think I guarantee die to return even if he's 0 attack, and like the damage showed that he was pretty much max defense on this as well. So I guarantee die to return if he's 0 attack, and I have like it's over 50% to die to a Hyper Voice. So I decide that I figured you probably would roost, but I was fine with just switching anyway. So I went into my Slowbro. I probably should have gone into Salazzle, but there's a reason that I didn't go into it, and you'll see. As now here, I am going to double into the Salazzle. I kind of expected the Chansey to come in potentially, and even if it didn't, Salazzle was just a good move there anyway. The reason I didn't want to go into Salazzle before is because if he had clicked return / Hyper Voice, then he would have popped my Air Balloon, and then if he had Earthquake, which I would assume he probably would have for this and or Empoleon, then he still has the one turn of Tailwind from that's expiring this turn. This would have been the turn that he had popped my balloon last turn, should have switched in, and then I would have been vulnerable to an Earthquake. Plus, I would like to keep my balloon if I can, because it helps me with Mamoswine. I figured the set he would probably be running would be Dual Stabs, Ice Shard, and Knockoff. So that set, if I have my Air Balloon, I can set up a a Nasty Plot on it for later in the match, and then try and go for a sweep, because of course Salazzle is faster than all of his Mons. So here, I still didn't want to break my balloon on a Seismic Toss, but I figured it was a very obvious soft-boiled turn for him. So I'm going to go for the knockoff just to get rid of his Violet, make it a lot less bulky, and just be able to kill it a lot faster with whatever I want to kill it with. And now here, because I do not want to get my balloon popped, I'm going to go into my Hoop Unbound, which sadly isn't very effective this game because he brought the Incineroar. It would have been a lot more effective if he didn't bring the Incineroar. But the one good thing about it, it's pretty easy to just switch into Chansey very liberally. Given its great SPDF, Chansey has no attack, doesn't get U-turn obviously, and Seismic Toss is like doing whatever, and it shares the fighting weakness with Incineroar, so allowing me to click Drain Punch pretty much as free play, as he is going to go into the Incineroar, as Drain Punch does a little bit under half damage. So decent damage, but not what I would be looking for. I'm going to go into my Piloswine here, as he does click the knockoff. So good play to remove my Violet, and now here I take a chance and try and get my rocks up because I wanted to get those rocks up for Incineroar. Just because then it wouldn't be able to switch into my Hoopa anymore. Since a Drain Punch after rocks would kill it. And it's just very good to get chip on things. And if he didn't switch in Xatu, and I did get my rocks, I believe it was at, 23? So it would die. But he does go into the... Oh, he was at 17. Even less. But it would die. But he makes a good play and bounces my rocks back, which isn't a huge deal for me. The only thing it kind of sucks for is Salazzle, but it's still not a huge deal. And here, this was just a bad play by me, because I was like, I knew he was going to Roost, so I clicked Earthquake. But I should have calced it and known that Earthquake does less than half, so I should have just used this as a free switch into my Koko instead of trying to Earthquake. Because I could have used Ice Shard if I had it and killed this, but I obviously did not have it, or else I would have clicked it there. So, anyways, this was a bad Earthquake, and I saw the damage, and I was like, man, I'm a fucking idiot. But yeah, anyways, I will go into my Koko now, as he does Roost again. And now I can get myself a free Roost, as I doubt that he would want to stay in. And even if he does, he really can't do anything to me. But yeah, he is going to go into the Mamoswine. So I'm just going to go into my Slowbro, max defense, really just built because this was my only Mamoswine switch in. So yeah. And now here, I'm going to go for the Scald just to see what he wants to bring in. He goes back into the Xatu, and now here I expected him to U-turn, but he makes a better play and goes for the Tailwind. So I Toxiced, and it bounced it back, so that was sad. But anyways, I'm going to just Toxic again, because now I know he's going to U-turn. So yeah, Toxic again. As it goes into the Chansey, which, obviously has Natural Cure, but it's still nice to get the chip off, as Slowbro is pretty low, but I actually do not mind Slowbro dying here, because of all of my Mons on my team, Slowbro is the one that is susceptible to getting set up on by Linoon, and +6 Linoon just beats my team. So it was the only Pokemon of the 6 that Linoon set up on for free, pretty much. But I still needed to bring it as a Mamoswine answer. But I was perfectly fine with it getting Toxic and, kind of just using it as fodder for the Mamoswine the next time it came in. So anyways, he goes into the Chansey. I'm going to bring it back so I can use it as fodder, because the Hoopa switch is very free, as he goes for the Seismic Toss, which I'm completely fine with, and now I just get another free Drain Punch to weaken Incineroar into one more Drain Punch will kill. But unfortunately, he does show the nice prep and gets the Figi Berry to activate, so now it's still back up at 68, which was really fucking annoying. So I'm going to go into my Piloswine on the U-turn and pretty much just sack this off. I was really hoping that he would go into Noon here and assume that he could probably set up on this and try and sweep me. But I did have the roar on my pile of swine so that it could not get set up on, and I was really hoping that I even put some bait in the chat. I think I said what? I said, "Oh, that's bad. This could be it." Just trying to bait out the Noon so that way he could pop his berry and then obviously get sent away and have it not really be a big threat anymore, because it would be at full health still, but can't really belly drum anymore. And E-Speed's still annoying, but it's not going to sweep my team. But he didn't fall for the bait, which it was kind of sad. I think he probably would have fell for it if I hadn't pretty much revealed that I didn't have Ice Shard. So yeah, after the game he told me he expected me to have Roar once he saw that this pile of swine obviously didn't have Ice Shard. So I was a little bit sad, but it is what it is. At least it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it in this case, for sure. So yeah, he is going to just kill my pile of swine, and I was just saying, whatever, you can kill it now. It's pretty much, it hasn't really done its job, but it's done its job in that it's been able to switch into some things. So anyways, here I'm just going to go into my Coco, and I'm going to Thunderbolt. And now here I'm going to Dazzling Gleam, because I figured he's almost never toxic in here. If he wants to soft boiled and predict me not to taunt, well, that's fine, because I can just taunt him next turn. And if he thinks I'm going to taunt, he might go into something like his Mamoswine, and predicting the taunt where it can easily live a hit. And then also Dazzling Gleam pretty much hits everything that he has. Incineroar's not taking 2 Dazzling Gleams. Mamoswine is roughly 2-hit KO'd. No Bulk is 2-hit KO'd by Dazzling Gleam, and I assume that he would have no Bulk because Mamoswine speed ties with Hoopa Unbound. And Dazzling Gleam obviously hits Mega Altaria super effective. Xatu is not really going to love it. It's going to not quite be KO'd, but I also have Thunderbolt in the back. So it's not like Xatu is going to come in and be like, "Ooh, I am the Coco answer now." And if he Seismic tosses, well then I actually gain some HP compared to as if he was able to Seismic toss me twice after I had taunted and then 2-hit KO'd him. So I felt like Dazzling Gleam was pretty no drawback play unless he predicted me to Dazzling Gleam and Toxic, which would have sucked, but at that point it's kind of hats off to him for making a really good read. So yeah, he is going to go into his Mega Altaria, and we're going to put a big chunk of damage into this, which is really nice. I was really glad because now that thing pretty much dies to any old hit. Can't really even switch into Slowbro that well. As I'm going to Dazzling Gleam again, I guess I probably could have Thunderbolted, but I was just like, oh well. I'm just gonna Thunderbolt here because I assume that he really would not. He might think that I would risk the roll, and therefore he wouldn't want to go into Mamoswine and get 2-hit KO'd. But now here I am going to sack my Slowbro, more chip on Mamoswine. And Mega Lopunny now, it can come in and pretty much get a free power-up punch. So if he stays in, Power Punch actually doesn't kill him, but he gets it clearly in range for Coco to knock it out with a Dazzling Gleam. And if he switches out, pretty much I want to be using Power-up Punch against anything that he's bringing in, especially the Incineroar, because I don't want to be at minus attack. And Incineroar is not really doing too much to me anyway. So he does go into the Incineroar as I will get my attack back to normal. And now here, Return was a roll, but I think I needed a very high roll to kill. So I just figured I'd go for 2 power-up punches instead, rather than try and get the high roll. As Incineroar is not really doing that much to me. Had I gotten the high roll, I probably would have been able to just win. Because really the only way he can kill me now is the priority between Linoon and Mamoswine. So neither of them kills me on its own, so he has to choose one to sack. Because yeah, obviously at +2, Mega Altaria is not doing jack against me at 13%. And even if it hadn't taken that Dazzling Gleam, if I'm at +2, it's still not doing jack because I'm going to be doing like 80% to it. And obviously Chansey is not going to be doing anything. And without its Violite, it's just going to drop to a return, especially because it's below half. So he pretty much has to pick which one to sack, and he does pick the right one in Mamoswine. So he is going to Ice Shard here, get me low, pretty much his only play, as I will go for the return. No sense in clicking Power Up Punch because I have all the attack that I need, as now he will go into Linoon and click Extreme Speed. So now here I will go into my Coco, and I actually this is a point where I almost threw the game away. It would have been very sad, as I should have taunted, because what's it called? Linoon actually can live a hit if it's like max HP. I didn't have that much prep for Linoon just because I was kind of hoping for it to not come. I just thought he had a lot of better brings against me. Things like Cresselia, Celesteela, stuff like that. So I wasn't extremely prepared, especially because I had the Tsarina, so it's not like max HP was like a given. Although I still should have played it safe and taunted. But I do Thunderbolt, as he actually does switch out into Chansey, and now it's like, alright, well, Thunderbolt's very free now. There's really no reason to not click it here, as he is going to sack the Altaria. And now he goes back into the Linoon. And here's definitely where I should have clicked Taunt, because the reason I didn't was because I figured I would get him below 25% if I clicked Thunderbolt and he lived. And then I was thinking like a normal Belly Drum user will only run a 25% berry. But I forgot that Linoon gets Gluttony, so it can run the 50% berries. So I really should have taunted here. But it didn't matter because he ended up being max speed anyway. So he just drops to a Thunderbolt, and I just get the win. So a little bit of unnecessary drama, but maybe you call it my sixth sense into knowing what his set was going, or his spread was going to be. And whatever you call it, I'm going to call it a 3-0 victory. So anyways, yeah, good game to Kirby. Now, after an 0-2 start, career 3-2 against him, which feels very good. So yeah, anyways, you may or may not see me next week, depending on how much time I have and how motivated I am. And definitely also how I play. Because if I play like trash, I'm probably not going to upload it. I'm going to be honest. Anyways, I'll see you guys.